When I was 5 years old, I came home from school one day and my mom handed me a VHS tape which featured two reptilian-like creature costumes on the front cover, which I guess in her mind didn't appear too different than the Dinosaurs TV show that she knew I absolutely loved. Little did she know that that movie she handed me was way different than that dinosaur show, and it would send me on a lifelong love of Godzilla as I know it today. I still have this VHS tape, and I have very fond memories of watching this movie. Now, is it the type of movie that's suitable for a 5-year-old? Probably not. Is it the type of movie that a 5-year-old can even wrap their head around? Also unlikely. And yet, the scene of Ghidorah's shadow flying over Japan is something that's seared into my brain. The Hiya Toys Ghidorah figure is the first time that I've had a practical opportunity to own an articulated version of this character. And I am very excited to share this opportunity with you. I'd like to thank INS Hobby for their role in making this review possible. I paid for the figure, they paid for the shipping and getting it here. And if you're interested in importing King Ghidorah months before his domestic release in North America, you can use my affiliate link in the description. Let's get started. Before we even get into the figure itself, one vast improvement with this release over the previous MonsterVerse Ghidorah is that it's fully assembled right out of the box. There's no need to boil the tails and then frantically try to get them onto the body in time. It's just one piece right out of the box, and that goes a long way in the overall playability of the figure. Looking at dimensions, Ghidorah stands about 11 inches tall at full mast, with a wingspan just under 24 inches at full spread, and a length of 18 inches at full extension from head to tail. This thing is unapologetic in how much shelf room he's going to take up. Now we'll get into the sculpt of the figure, and longtime viewers of mine know that I care more about capturing the spirit of the figure rather than the absolute screen accuracy, but I'm stoked here to report that the two come hand in hand. The scales throughout Ghidorah's body, while simple in their silhouette, manage to hold a secret. If you look at the patterning of the scales, you'll notice that they are asymmetrical in nature, meaning that the sculptor took the time to make each scale individually rather than using a mirroring tool to speed up the process. I have so much respect for the folks that go this route. Ghidorah's heads are extremely expressive, with intricate wrinkles and folds present throughout. This could have been another place to save time and just use one mold 3 times, but if you look closer, it does appear that the heads each have unique sculpts. At least, that's what it looks like to me if you compare the top of each head. Extremely similar, but definitely distinct. As I was fiddling with this figure in the living room for the first time, my wife walked in and she actually remarked how much the wings looked like fabric, and she walked over and pinched it with her fingers just to see is it actually made of cloth. Both the creases in the sculpt of the wings and the choice of metallic paint go a long way in making these wings actually look like they did on the costume. It is very impressive. Speaking of that metallic paint, it is not as saturated in color as the promotional images led me to anticipate. It's not something I'm particularly bummed out about, but I can see others missing that more yellowish gold from the solicitation images. Ghidorah's toenails, teeth, and chin spikes are painted in a darker bone-like color. The inside of Ghidorah's mouths are red, with some small line work on the tongues. Ghidorah's eyes are red with yellow irises and appear to be printed on rather than painted. The paintwork on the figure overall is solid, not that it would have been something particularly difficult to nail. It's really the incredible sculpt that shines through having this figure on display. In terms of articulation, you're going to want to use a hairdryer all over this thing to unlock and awaken some of those joints, because oh my gosh, there's so many joints. We're talking 10 segments in each neck and 15 segments in each tail. Here's a shot of the range of the movement present on each neck, which is consistent across all 3. They are all ball joints. Funny enough, as I was moving these guys for the first time, I could really see the motivation for making a 2.0 of the MonsterVerse Ghidorah. The necks here are far, far superior. The jaws and tongues are both on hinges. I recommend heating the tongues so that they don't stick to the roof of his mouths every time you close them. Here is a shot of the range of movement present in each tail. Some of the joints toward the base are a little bit weaker under the sheer weight of these tails, but I'm able to position them so that it doesn't really matter too much. The individual tails connect into a single joint at the base of the tail, which then connects into the body on a ball joint. This single joint does not have a whole lot of movement range, and it forces the figure to lean forward a bit because it just sits in the way. I think that if it had been on a swivel rather than a ball joint, there might have been more clearance to move it out of the way so that Ghidorah could stand more upright if I wanted him to. The wings connect into the body on swivel joints that feel like soft ratchets, but whatever they are, they feel strong. There's an immediate second connection that I'm not sure is articulated because it doesn't feel like it wants to move to me. I think this might just be a point of connection between the rubber wings and the harder plastic used in the rest of the body. The wings being rubber with bendy wire means that you can manipulate them pretty freely. This isn't something that I'm super into because bendy wires make me nervous, but it is there for those that need it or want it. It's also worth noting that the wings are really heavy, so moving them and manipulating them is going to toss the figure's center of gravity all over the place. I'll have more to say about the wings toward the end of this video, which shouldn't be too much longer. With everything going on in the neck's tails and wings, it's easy to overlook Ghidorah's main body. The torso has a ball joint in it with a bit of a back and forth and a limited amount of swivel. The thighs connect into the body on what feels like a single ball joint. It reminds me of the Godzilla 2014 figure's thighs. Ghidorah has double jointed knees, a cut halfway down the shin with a ball joint, as well as ball jointed ankles. Ghidorah doesn't come with any accessories out of the box, and while I don't think that takes away from the figure, it does feel a little bit like a missed opportunity. You guys might know my stance on flying characters when they're made in action figure form. I think that if a character flies in the movie, that it should come with a flight stand. And if a figure comes with accessories and pieces such that I can put it into a flight mode or configuration, then it should come with a flight stand. I hate the idea that I get a Mechagodzilla that can be put into a flight stand or a Mogera, and then he just has to sort of like plank on my desk because he didn't come with a flight stand. It just defeats the purpose for me. Ghidorah's in a little bit more of an ambiguous situation because, like, yes, he has wings and he flies, but he's also capable of standing on 2 feet, and most of his battles with Godzilla are him standing on 2 feet. At the same time, there are sequences in the movie, like when he's fighting the fighter jets, where he's airborne. I guess where I land is, I don't think that he should have come with a flight stand, but it definitely would have been a much better release if he did. And if I'm going to be a real jerk about it, there are several promotional shots of this figure that feature him in flying positions, and it sucks that I can't do that with my figure out of the box. If they get around to doing a gravity beam version, I'd love to see them add a flight stand that looks something like the flight stand that came with the flying Otachi from NECA. That's a great flight stand for a great figure, and I think that something like that here makes a lot of sense. And come to think of it, the box for this one features Ghidorah on the front in a flying position with gravity beam, so come on, Hiya. At a retail price of $100, King Ghidorah is not cheap. Thankfully, Hiya Toys was also not cheap in how they handled making this figure. He's a big figure that is fun to mess around with, and most importantly, one that you can mess around with without feeling like something's gonna break or fall off. The articulation in the necks and tails are solid, and the sculpt excels in the attention to detail. As someone that's waited 26 years to finally own this character, I am extremely pleased. That's going to be it for me, but I'm curious to hear from you. What do you think of this King Ghidorah figure? Is it something that you're looking to pick up sooner rather than later? Are you going to wait for a 2.0 that might fix some of the issues that you have with it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you again to INS Hobby for sponsoring this video and sending along this review sample. If you're interested in picking this figure up, it's going to cost about $135 US-ish to import it right now, which is a decent amount more than the US MSRP, but also you're going to get it 2, maybe 3 months ahead of the US distribution. So the link's there in the description if you like it. I will also put a summarized list of what I like about this figure and what I don't like about this figure in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye!